Good afternoon and konbanwa, wherever you are in the world. I am the idol to give you the wings to fly. Cyber Angel, Rita Kamishiro, at your service. Welcome in. Hello. Welcome. Hello, Greed. Hello, Shinano. Hello, Slowly. Hello, Uncle Red. Hello, Project Mars. Hello, Rin. Hello, Sang, Demon Warrior, Plague, Bio, Ramagon. LOL. Welcome in. We have quite a few new archangels here, or new people who haven't been here before, so welcome in. I probably look a little different than I do lately. I haven't done my hair like this in a while, but I thought it'd be a nice, cozy little sort of thing for today. I even wore my dress today. Nice little, like, Sunday morning dress moment. Yeah. Rita, original flavor. What is my new flavor? New and improved flavor. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I realized I haven't really, like, done a stream with my, like, old hairstyle before. Let alone, well, technically I did at, like, my indie debut, but it was only for a little bit. So, I thought this would be fun. Rita Classic. Oh my gosh. Original flavor. Can the new one be sour cream and onion? I like sour cream and onion. So I would be happy if the new one was sour cream and onion. But welcome in. If you don't know what we're doing today, we're gonna be having a nice little cozy advice stream. I haven't done one of these in a long time, so I'm really excited. First of all, I'm just very honored that you all place a lot of trust and, like, importance in my advice. That really means a lot to me, so I'll do my best to offer some friendly and hopefully helpful advice. If you want, you can still submit some, I guess, questions, concerns in the form. It's in the description. You can check it out. But I do have a couple of little, I don't want to say disclaimers, but I don't know if they're rules. Notes? Friendly notes, I guess, before we get started. So I guess I'll just start with my first note. Is please be respectful to the individuals who submitted their concerns. I think it takes a lot of courage and strength to reach out to people, especially as well in like a public space, for help. So let's try not to overwhelm folks. Kind words are always welcome. Supportive words are always welcome. Please don't make shiny work overtime today. If possible, we could also have Armand be comfy today as well. But yeah, I think in addition to that, thank you all so much for being such a respectful and open-minded community, to where I can feel comfortable to do these sorts of streams. So thank you all. Thank you, by the way, for the pin message. I appreciate it. What would Rita do was always a helpful thought. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I can fix anybody's life. I can certainly try to offer some support. I don't know. I have to fix my own life first. Just kidding. Oh my gosh. I am constantly improving myself. That is the positive verbiage we're gonna go with. No, we're not gonna overwork Shiny. We have to be on our best behavior. Oh my gosh. And good luck with moving, Logan. Thanks for stopping by. Best of luck. Moving can be so difficult. So, best of luck. Okay, next note. Please be mindful that I may choose not to read a question on stream if I feel that I can't speak on a certain topic. Like if I don't have enough, like, insight or, like, knowledge on it. If I find that a question may be particularly triggering for the audience, like in general, I will give content warnings where I see them or, like, are applicable. So yes. And then I may not read a question if I run out of time on stream, or maybe I'll run out of steam. Maybe I need to go dream and take a nap. I don't know. I was gonna keep going with that, but I can't think of any more rhymes. This is a very important note. Please understand that this is by no means professional counsel. I'm just here to offer some friendly advice and, kind words and good support. So with that being said, this is very kind of, I don't want to say lighthearted, but if you do find yourself in a crisis, or if you are in a crisis, I'm glad that you trust me in this community enough to reach out. And I'm very sorry that it is a very difficult moment for you, but there is help out there that is more beneficial for you, and I think more, what you deserve. So if you are in a crisis or the like, please, I have some resources in the description if you need to reach out. And you do need to talk to a more professional outlet. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just a girl. Just a silly little girl. Try to live each day at a time. That's deedly-do. And thank you for the message to pin. Let me go ahead and pin that. I'm a pro gamer. You know what? I am. Every single time somebody calls me a pro gamer, I always hesitate. Like, no, I'm not. But then it's like, wait, I do game for work. Not well. Oh gosh, not well. But it's something. Okay, let me go. I'll just go in order. Is that okay? I'm gonna just pull up the responses. I'll go by individual. Okay. I gave people the option to put a pseudonym. For they, either a fake name, or if they want to use their screen name, that's fine too. This is from an anonymous Nopon. So I hope this helps the anonymous Nopon. This is 2 questions. Number 1. Sometimes I have trouble keeping myself motivated and following up with a plan. It's not like I hate it. I'm just not feeling to do it for a long while. How do I keep myself motivated? Oh, I feel you. I feel you so much because I'm very much a planner. I'm very much a big idea kind of person, and I get very excited by the idea of new ideas and new projects. I get a lot of excitement, and I get a dopamine, oh my gosh, new project, so excited. But when it's time to get down into the weeds of it and get stuff done, I get it done, of course, but I always struggle to find the motivation to get it done. So how do I motivate myself? Let me think about a recent project that I had to do. Let me see. Let me go to my Notion and then think of a project, because I feel like it happens with a lot of projects, especially the more steps there are. Let me think. How do I keep myself motivated? I guess. I guess I'll start from a very broad sense of motivation. I find that motivation that comes from the inside rather than the outside tends to be a lot stronger. So rather than I need to finish this because somebody else expects me to finish it, or because I need to impress somebody, or something like that. Of course, things like deadlines, you have to meet deadlines and stuff. But if it's something like a hobby, or if it's cleaning or something, maybe something like this is for my health or my learning, I find that's a lot better of a motivation. To be more specific, I guess, I'm always a mini milestone person. So if it's a long task, I divide it up into tiny things, and I make myself little milestones, and then I give myself a little reward. And it doesn't have to be money reward. It could be okay, I get a 5-minute break. I find that it's easier for me to stay focused and motivated to get work done if I know I have a little break coming up, I get like micro distracted all the time. So if I need to do this more because I'm pretty sure it would help me focus more. Pomodoro timers, because it's like, okay, if I know I'm gonna have a dedicated 5-minute like fun time where I don't feel bad about having it because it's planned and it's like for my focus, I feel a lot more motivated to get work done during the time where I'm meant to get work done. So I hope that helps. You're motivated by deadlines, exactly. Oh my gosh. So, anybody else have any fun, I guess, ways that they stay motivated? John says, figure out what your end goal is and don't beat yourself up when walking to that. Don't sprint because you'll burn yourself out. That is so true. And it's also good and helpful to have a smart, I was like, should I be pedantic about it? A smart end goal. I always forget what the letters of SMART stand for. I'm going to search it up. This is a totally different thing, but SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound goals. If you want to learn more about that, you could search up SMART goals, or I could talk about it later. Having goals that are achievable and attainable make it easier to be motivated as well, because if it's so out of reach, it's going to feel like a burden trying to get it, and then you set yourself up for failure, and you just make yourself feel bad, when at the end of the day, it's because the goal wasn't set well, if that makes sense. You need motivation, but a deadline makes you procrastinate to the very last minute. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's why I also try to make like little mini deadlines before the main major deadline. So like, oh, get like a half of this essay done by this time, if that makes sense. 5 minutes is not enough. You need a 5 hours nap. If you mean that like in a physical way, that's a person by person basis. But if it's like for me personally, it's like if I schedule a time where I'm dedicated to be like bleh, then I feel less bad. Like having okay, this is my 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour time where I can just not do anything. So that like when I do need to be, in the times where I do need to be focused, I can be focused. But on the flip side, if I do feel like I can't muster up the motivation to work right now, for whatever reason, I'm like not able to function, I guess, then I'll switch it around and be like, okay, if there's not a deadline that's urgent, I will own this feeling, right? I will turn this time into my do-nothing time. I'll switch around, like maybe I had do-nothing time later, planned later, I'll make that my productive time. Because if I don't, like, own that feeling and I don't own like that time, then I'm just doing nothing and feeling bad, right? So rather than being like, oh, I'm not being productive when I should be productive and feeling bad about it and not doing anything, just be like, you know what? This is now the dedicated time I'm gonna give myself to not do anything. And then I guess it's like a mindset shift, right? And then be like, okay, well, there's not like a deadline right away, then I'll go ahead and do it later. As long as it doesn't lead into like a procrastination thing. You have to be, it's a very like, you do have to be very disciplined about it, I think. And you kind of have to be like me, where you kind of plan out your days, where it's like, okay, this is the period of time where I'm going to be productive, and this is the period of time where I'm not. But yeah, breaks are very important, and you have to, you kind of have to like learn how to become very disciplined about not only respecting your work time, but respecting your break time. Because it needs to be a break where you're not thinking about work. Otherwise, again, it's not a break. Non-zero commitments and starting is the hardest part. Commit to only doing 5 to 10 minutes, and then everything else becomes extra credit. Exactly. And then instead of like, because would you rather set a really big goal for yourself and not achieve it and feel bad about yourself, or would you rather like start small and be proud of yourself for a little extra, and then you can start to increase that time, and then it becomes like a regular thing. Respecting your break time, that's an alien concept for me. I feel you. It's something that you kind of have to not just learn, but also like upkeep. Because again, stuff like this is not like a linear sort of growth thing. If you find yourself kind of like going back a little bit on your goals, Don't beat yourself up too much about it, because you're not always going to be growing linearly. Sometimes you slow down a little bit. Sometimes you're really, really fast towards your goal, but that's okay. Do I have a morning routine to hype you up? Oh, lately? Not really. I need to get back on it. I think after, like, I think my not sleep schedule, but my routines got kind of messed up around the time I did my stage production. But I need to start. For me, I have more of a nighttime goal. I've been really good about my nighttime routine, which is I like to do puzzles before bed. I've been doing the New York Times puzzles to kind of like, I don't know. I've been doing the connections puzzle. I've been doing strands. I've been doing Sudoku, and all that stuff before bed. And it just gives me like a time where I can like start to wind down. Like I'm not focusing on like work, but I'm like kind of tiring myself out a little bit, laying down doing these puzzles, and then I do the mini crossword. I do strands. I do connections. I do vertex. I don't do Wordle though. I don't know why, but Wordle is like not my thing. Anyway, back to the second question on the anonymous Nopod's question. This is not about me, but I wonder how you manage to juggle with everything you do in life. Oh yeah, you seem to do a lot of things. I guess my productivity tools. People always like look at my productivity tools and they're like, "Wow, you're so like organized and you're so like put together." I don't think I could exist as a person the way that I am right now to this day without my calendars and without my Notion, because it's the only thing that keeps me together. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to keep track of everything. So I guess that answers your question. Yeah. I have to stay organized, but even then, like, I'm not super strict about upkeeping everything. Like, I'm not super, I don't have like every week at this time I'll clean out my backlog or whatever. But yeah, I think sticking to my productivity tools helps me manage everything. I also color code my calendar. It helps me like see if because I have like idle side job is one color, and then I have like streaming work, so that includes streams, editing time, script writing. That's one color. Fun time, like hanging out with friends and my sisters. I have a color for life upkeep. Like I had a color for like when I had to do my taxes and stuff like that. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, Notion sponsor, please. Oh, please, 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 please. Except for my Notion's not super pretty. It just like, it does the job, but even then, sometimes I wonder if it does the job properly. Yeah. So, that's how I keep myself organized. Thank you for your questions, Anonymous Nobon. Okay. Ooh, this is from Artyom. Your favorite book character. Wow. Not mine, but this person's favorite book character. Okay. It says here, hello, Miss Rita Kamishiro. I've been having trouble with thanking my mother for all of the improvement she has made in regards to her hoarding problem. Nothing too major, but had the potential to get out of hand at some points. It has been very slow going, and it's been tough to get any change. And that's where my problem is. It's hard thanking her for such minor improvements, but I know they will start adding up to something more substantial. How should I do it? I love my mother, and I'm very proud of her improvements, no matter how small, but I'm just having trouble thanking her. Thank you. I hope this message wasn't too long. No, it wasn't too long at all. Thank you so much for your question. So, thanking somebody. Having trouble with thanking someone. Is it, I wonder, because I wonder if it's like you don't know how to, like if I should say something or like a letter. If you happen to know what sort of like responses or what sort of, I guess, what's the word? What sort of love languages your mom is most like positively responsive to. So like, I think that would be a best way to start. Like if your mom loves hugs, like maybe just be like, hey, like, I know that, like, just like give her a hug or something. I know it's weird, like, out of nowhere, but like maybe if you're hanging out, like, if you're maybe like, if you're going to lunch or something when you head out, or like when you show up, like, hey, like, how have you been doing? Go in for a hug and be like, hey, how's it going? Oh my gosh, you've been doing great, kind of thing. I don't know. It always goes down to like words of affirmation for me because that's my number one love language. So I don't know. But yeah, I think being able to knowing what your mom's love language is probably gonna be very helpful to see what sort of like thank you will be the most, I guess. But not the most effective, but at the end of the day, as long as you're trying to show your gratitude, I think that will come across. But I think it would be nice if you matched that language. Oh yeah, Mother's Day is coming up. Yeah, maybe if you find it difficult to quote unquote out of the blue show gratitude, I think like maybe as part of your Mother's Day gift, like maybe get a card, or what, like maybe if your mom likes flowers or something, like a small little gift. It doesn't have to be a lot, and it doesn't even have to be physical. Just specifically with this like situation, maybe not something physical or something that like wouldn't be kept. Maybe verbal would be better. But again, a small card is a small card, but I don't know if that would be helpful or not. But I think maybe if you're having trouble finding, I don't want to say like an excuse, a situation or an occasion to say thank you. I'm a firm believer in that you don't need an occasion to do that. But I think like, with Mother's Day coming up, maybe shoot a text or something. Like, hey, happy Mother's Day. Thankful, for this or that. I'm proud of you. I think that'd be nice. Yeah, you could also have like a hangout day or an afternoon, go out for lunch, things like that. But yeah, I agree. It's definitely the little things. I think that it doesn't have to be anything major. And I think maybe if it's difficult because you don't normally do that, maybe like start off simple and then, or like if you want to keep showing your gratitude, I think you gotta like start practicing. You gotta start somewhere. It's gonna feel awkward at first, but you just gotta do it. Yeah, I think being able to understand each other's love languages as well is very helpful. Yeah. Exactly. Everything starts with baby steps. And I agree, little things matter. So, I hope you are able to show your gratitude. And if it's a concern that you feel like it's not enough, I think the fact that you're doing it is enough. Yeah. So, I think your mom will very much appreciate your gratitude. Yeah, and I think explaining to her maybe your thoughts or your concerns, or yeah, I think if you feel comfortable, being like, hey, like, I think you've been doing great and I want to like tell you more, that I'm proud of you, and yeah, I think she'd really appreciate that. So best of luck with showing gratitude, and best of luck to your mom as well. Woohoo! Congrats on all the improvements. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I forgot. I still have my food. I heated up a pork barbecue bun. That ended up being my breakfast. Sorry, I'm still chewing. I'm going to the next question. I need to drink water too. I'm very much the kind of person that drinks a lot of water or drink, like lemonade or whatever, while I eat food. So I always get like nervous going to like a food place and they only have like the small little cups for water and they don't give you a pitcher. Because I always feel bad asking for water so often. Okay, This one's from Mikhail. Do you have any advice or techniques for getting more comfortable with putting stuff you create out there? I've been wanting to commit to making and uploading song covers, but I end up getting really self-conscious and hesitating, especially as I get closer to finishing stuff. I actually had a great conversation about this with some friends the other day. Yesterday, I went to a friend's birthday party, and there are a lot of, like, I think most of them are in, like, theater. Like in the I don't know if I do. So I made a lot of new friends doing, like, theater, like local theater. And these are my friends, some of my friends that I made. And so I got invited to one of their birthday parties yesterday. I made this great conversation about, like, community art, like not just theater. But I think one of the things that's important to think about, because I think a lot of this, I think this is like a mental thing. So, you know, there's not really anything physical you could do. Well, I mean, I guess you could write stuff down, you know, write down your affirmations and things like that. But it is a mindset you have to create for yourself. And I think for me, one of the things I think about is how at its core, art is very, I think we've lost a lot of accessibility for art, in that nowadays a lot of people, especially in spaces like the internet or like in content creator spaces, we have this expectation of professionalism, right? And, you know, for me as a professional content creator, it's something I think about a lot, but I'm also trying to shake, so hopefully this is helpful. But at the core of it, art is culture, and culture should be accessible to all people. So having this expectation that it always needs to be, you know, have a lot of resources put into it, or always has to be done by a professional, or always has to be polished, is, I feel like it does art a disservice. That's not to say art can't be professional, or that being a professional artist isn't, like, you know, a good thing. You know, I'm glad we have people out there who do art for a profession, but, you know, I think we should allow more spaces for people to be hobbyists, or to be beginners, to do, like, I don't know, because we were talking, and it's like, how do we practice this, right? How can we continue to make our communities a space where art can be accessible to not just professionals or people with money, but to everybody? And some of the ways we thought about it were, like, dance by yourself in your room, dance with friends at a party, dance badly, dance well, like make up new dances. Art doesn't always have to be clean. Art doesn't have to be presentable. Art doesn't have to be a product. And I think appreciating that and knowing that what you're doing is still perpetuating the core of what art is meant to be, right? I think hopefully that will bring more pride in what you're doing. And when you see people, because, you know, the internet is gonna internet, but, you know, again, I've gotten it too, where people are like, this isn't even, like, tuned, this isn't even timed, this isn't even, like, mixed properly. Okay, well, I just wanted to put something out there, I think, unfortunately for these people, I think maybe they've just lost touch about on what art can be, right? Because, again, art can be very organic and unrefined, and it's really an expression of who you are as a person. And I think we've just lost that space for art that is very, like, that doesn't match, I guess, people's expectations for publishing on the internet. Vivek, thank you so much for this super chat. I'm glad you find it very comfy. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that helps. So whenever you find yourself feeling self-conscious and hesitating, I hope that you can think of those words and be proud of contributing to what art is meant to be, right? Community. Art is expression. Art is whatever you want it to be. So I hope that helps. Yeah, it can be freestyle. And again, art is learning too. I think another thing we were talking about is that it's so, one thing that makes art very difficult in a professional sense is that a lot of people who don't have access to resources like, teachers, schools, because those sorts of things require not only money, but resources and connections and things like that. So for a lot of people, they find it difficult to become a professional artist because people have these expectations for, what you need to study or what sort of experiences you need to have. But it's hard to find those spaces where you can get those experiences. So I think people, I guess just, the art community or the community in general should be a lot more open to people learning and growing and working on their craft and sharing that. Because how are you supposed to get better if you can't, if you're stuck waiting for things to be perfect? Because it can't be, not perfect. It can't get better if you don't just try it, right? You get stuck. Exactly. Art is meant to be enjoyed, and if you're enjoying it, that's all that matters. As long as you're enjoying it, it's not hurting anyone. That's what matters. So I hope that helps. Please continue to make art. It's such a beautiful thing, and I hope you'll continue to create and share your art with the community. Yeah. Okay, I hope that helped. Let's see. This one is from Liv. Thank you for your question, Liv. Let's see. Hi, Rita. Hi. I've always had an issue with getting started on things. I think the proper term is behavioral/mental resistance, and it's something that's always gotten in my way, like trying out new hobbies or working out or getting a job done on time. I think about doing it, and even if I understand the importance of it or how it would benefit me, I start to feel physically unable to do anything and end up procrastinating or just giving up entirely. And I end up spending the whole time browsing the net or playing video games instead of being productive. I'd like advice on how to get past this hurdle, and it's one that I've had since childhood, because I realize it's been getting in the way of enriching and bettering my life and has gotten me into trouble by not meeting deadlines or being late to things, and I'm not exactly sure how to deal with it. Thank you. Of course. Yeah, I can totally understand. Maybe not to a similar level, but I can definitely empathize with how you feel. An issue with getting started on things. I see. I'm rereading the question. Let's see. Trying new hobbies or working out or getting a job done on time. And then of course, how it would benefit me. Feel physically unable to do anything and end up procrastinating or just giving up entirely. Okay. I talked a little bit about this earlier about creating spaces where you can be unproductive versus productive, but I think that's a little bit different. When I need to do something, because I feel like if it's an issue of if it's a recurring issue of procrastination, then maybe it's not for you. Maybe creating a time where it's like I'm allowing myself to be productive versus not, that might not be a good or effective sort of thing or thing to do. I don't know. Yeah, I personally set time limits. That helps me to I talked a little bit about Pomodoro timers earlier, where so it won't be as a major scale, not like music. It wouldn't be as big as for 3 hours I'm gonna work at this time on this day, and then 3 hours I'm gonna relax. It's not gonna be as big as that, but on a micro level you have your little times where you can do this or do that. So 25 minutes I'm gonna work, and it maybe set yourself some goals, break down your task, and try to get those things done during that time, and then you have your time where you can scroll. I think that helps. Your thinking noises are cute. Thank you. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I think breaking things down makes it feel a lot more accomplishable. Because I think for me, I get a lot of paralysis from feeling like a task is daunting. That's the biggest thing for me. It may be a little bit different for you. So if this isn't work, I apologize. But for me, if something feels like it's too much, that's usually what makes me I feel like I can't do it. And then I don't do it, and I end up being unproductive because I feel like I can't do it. So maybe breaking down the task into tinier ones, readjusting your expectations for your goal, that helps me a lot. and then putting a timeline on those things. So like having the first part of this done by the end of the week, the next thing done by the end of next week, things like that. But yeah, that's because that's usually what happens to me if I end up procrastinating or giving up. So yeah, I don't know if, I'm trying to think. Because I know, let me search this up. I'm gonna search. I feel like I have a way to, I think there's like a way to talk, there's a phrase for this, but I can't think of it. Because like, I also sometimes get, like, I think for me it's just mostly the anxiety of like, oh, this is such a big task, so I don't know how to start. So, yeah, little steps. Yeah, daunting. Yeah, it feels very daunting. I'm trying to think. Trying to think. If there's anything else I want to say about this topic. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta saying sometimes you just gotta start. Doesn't feel very helpful, huh? But I think the most, I guess for someone who has trouble getting started, just start. No, that I hope that chunking it up into smaller things helps. Trying to think of what else. I can hear the cogs turning. Oh yeah, the gears are turning. I think chunking it up. If you are unable to start because it feels daunting, I think chunking it up or adjusting your goals to feel more achievable and then work your way up from there. I hope that helps. Yeah, I think that's my advice. I was just thinking it's very similar to advice I gave earlier, so I was trying to think of ways to add to it, but I think that's what I want to say about it. Yeah. Again, not professional advice. I'm just a girl. Hopefully it's helpful. I wish you the best of luck, Liv. Yeah. Okay. This is from Vampire of the Black Flame, VT. Alright, okay. What can I offer my advice on? As a VTuber, how do I approach people about collabs? I find it varies on the person. Some need time to get to know you, etc. And so, it terrifies me to approach new people, as if I'd be upsetting them or make them hate me by asking. It's scary, oh it sure is. Please help. I don't know what to do. Hope this question is okay. Oh yes, it is very okay. Thank you for your question. I think it's this. I'm gonna tackle the approach anxiety portion of this question, because I feel like this anxiety coming from approaching people comes from, I guess, being afraid of like being annoying. Because that's, at least for me, that's what it's felt like to me. I always feel worried that I'm like taking up unnecessary space, if that makes sense. But your space isn't like unnecessary, right? Like being like expressing your desires or like your goals and things like that, or asking for help, or just reaching out for, like, if you want to be friends, like if you made a connection. I think being worried about, someone not liking you or upsetting them, obviously if you're being nice, you know that hopefully you're not hurting them. But if you're being nice and they respond like negatively, and I don't mean like kindly being like, sorry, like I'm currently like, maybe I don't know you very well like yet, I'd love to get to know you more first. That's like, rejection hurts, but they're being nice. But if they respond to you like meanly, like in a mean way, and they're being mean about it, then it's like, then that's not the kind of person you want to have in your space. And it feels personal right? Like, oh, the way that I am is making them act that way. I don't think so. If you're being nice, and they're being mean to you, then it's not so much, you being someone who's, easy to hate or whatever. It's more so they have an issue with being mean, I guess. But I don't know. I think just going into conversations with that mindset, and that, like, it's not personal if they say, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't have the time next week, or I don't have the time in the near future. I think giving people the benefit of the doubt, that, like, not assuming, like, oh, it's because they don't like me. I feel like it's so easy to, it's so easy to always assume the worst. I feel like sometimes we never really assume the best sometimes, right? Because sometimes you go in and you're like, oh my gosh, what if they find me annoying? What if they don't like me? But what if you go into try going into a conversation, like, oh, what if they do like me? Or what if they do want to hang out? But yeah, I would say maybe, like, try not to take it too personally if someone's like, I'm sorry, I don't really know you that well, but I appreciate you reaching out. Again, just like you said, it varies on the person, their level of comfortability with talking to strangers and things like that. So if someone, respectfully declines, try not to take it too seriously. Like, maybe it's not a you thing, So, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, making a friend, it's not gonna work out all the time, because things like, conversations, relationship, it's a two-way street. So, if it doesn't work out, then that's a bummer, but I'm sure there's gonna be someone out there who, wants to hang out with you and also has, like, the time and the space for it as well. And there's nothing wrong with professional relationships either. I think, I feel like people are always so quick to be like, oh, they're just a very, like a shallow person, and they don't really, like, want to make friends. Because for some people, they don't have the spoons to make more friends, right? There's only so many people that you can know and keep up with on a deep level. And for some people, just, having friendly interactions rather than making new friends is nice, right? Like, I think we place too much importance in, at least in the VTubing space. I don't know, I feel like people, because I feel like you don't always have to be, like, super deep, close best friends with everyone you collaborate. I think there's also value in just making fun little friendly connections with people who like the same games as you, and have the same interests as you and want the best for you. I think it's natural, being in a space with so many people. There's only so many people you can have the time and the energy to really invest yourself in. And what's unfortunate is that, as you interact with people are going to have an imbalance of, their emotional needs. For some people, it's like, oh, I already have a lot of really close friends that I can rely on. I have my close circle. I have my security net. And for me, like, collaborating is a way to meet those, like, quick, friendly connections. Have meet people with similar interests and have like fun, light, friendly banter. And for some people, going into the VTubing space are still looking to find, those people that they can really trust, and those people that their close circle, right? And so sometimes it can be very upsetting, maybe you've just been matching up with a lot of people who already have established their, like, friendship circles, and aren't looking for the same sort of, like, connections that you're looking for when you collaborate. And it is disappointing, but it's not bad on their end nor your end for wanting, what is best in your current situation. So, if it comes to that, it is a little upsetting, but it's important to respect their boundaries, but also yours. Like, make sure if you do want to find friends, I think it's important to still respect that and keep trying to find people to connect with in that way. So I guess framing it like, oh, it's not that they hate me or they're upset at me because they declined me. It just didn't, the matchup didn't work out, and you can find, hopefully you'll find a new friend who has the same sort of goals in like making friendships as you and has the time for you, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Some people just want to make friends, and for some people it's networking. And I think that's okay. Like, I think people think the word networking is like icky. I granted, I do kind of like, you know, sometimes for me, because again, I feel like networking is such a fine line, because it's like some people can be very. I think just sometimes people aren't very clear about their, you know, their intentions, and it causes disappointment for people who have like a mismatch in their like intentions. But you know, I think that it's fine to want different kinds of friendships and things like that. Is it interesting? Oh my gosh, I hope so. But I don't know. In a space where, you know, people's reasons for doing their craft are so different, I think it can be difficult to discern what people's goals are. But I think it's fine if you do VTubing for just to make friends or meet friends. I think it's fine if you do VTubing just to be able to, like, you know, have a job that you love to do and share your interests with other people. I think it's fine, you know, either way. As long as, I don't know, I feel like as long as you are clear about your intent. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Oh, by the way, if you do have, you know, any advice, questions, concerns, if you are able to use the form, please do. It helps me like keep things in order, so I don't jump between questions erratically, because I tend to do that. So, or wait till the end of the stream, where I'll probably take a few from chat. But I guess to wrap up this question, I guess don't be afraid to take up space, because it's think of it like this way. If you approach somebody, there's two things that could happen. They like react positively to what you say, they react negatively, right? I think if they react positively, and this can be like, oh yeah, I want to hang out, like, oh yeah, I want to get to know you more, then good. Like, that's the best case scenario, right? But if they react negatively, or I guess in a way that not unexpected, but you know, whether it's, hey, thanks for reaching out, but you know, I'm not really interested with collaborating with new people at the moment, then that's okay. You know, they you know, show their boundaries, and you know, it's not, because again, you don't know if it's good or bad, the reason why they, you know, said. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, they said that it's because they're busy, or it's because they're not really looking to collaborate. That's okay. I respect that. You know, I'll try to find someone who has similar interests, who has the space and, you know, the bandwidth for it. Because again, emotional bandwidth is also a big thing. And then if they react very negatively, like, oh, no, ew, then they're just a meanie, and that's a whole other problem that they're dealing with. Don't take it personally. And at the end of the day, that's not really someone you want in your life anyway. So you dodged a bullet there. So you helped yourself, I guess. Because there's going to be someone out there who respects you and wants to make space for you. And again, someone's not a bad person if they can't make space for you, in that, like, if they don't have like the emotional bandwidth for it. Because again, like, not everyone has the emotional capacity to have a lot of friends at one time. Like, maybe they're more of a smaller circle person. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if you can't enjoy VTubing, then, like, why put yourself through it? Here we go. Yeah, they're just not the ones for your circle. You'll find your circle. I hope that helps. Yeah. This one's from Samuel. Samuel says, recently I graduated from school and I'm looking for a job. Any advice? Wow, thank you for your question and congratulations for graduating. Oh my gosh, job hunting. Oof. I'd have to say, set yourself a goal because you're not. It's gonna take a lot of sending an application. It's gonna be a daunting amount of applications. Don't take it personally that if a whole chunk of them are rejections. That is very common. You will probably get way more rejections than you will get acceptances. It'll be a very skewed ratio. There's going to be a lot of I think the most common experience with job applications is you're going to have a lot more rejections than acceptances. So temper your expectations is my first thing. It's not a personal thing. That's just how it is. Yeah, don't take them personally. Second of all, also like make sure you really understand like the expectations for the jobs. I'd say you do want to like don't okay, let me go here. You should definitely have a certain percentage of your applications that you apply where you feel like you are a good fit. Doesn't have to be perfect, but like you're at the level that you think that they're asking for. You can even throw in some in there where you think you're underqualified, because you never know. Like maybe you don't have like a couple of the things, but you never know. They might be looking for someone who could fill like to learn or grow into the role. Maybe you could throw in a couple in there that you're a little overqualified for. I think varying your applications would be really helpful. But I think a good chunk of them should be like around your level. Like maybe you're missing like one or two of the bullet points, but like you feel pretty confident that you are in that range. Exactly. Apply to anything that you find interesting, even if you don't qualify for it. I think widen your net if you have the bandwidth for it. Then I think it's also important to give yourself a goal for if you're like really, really actively searching. I would give yourself a goal of like number of applications you send a week or something like that. And give yourself a time every week, like set aside time, dedicated time to do applications. And yeah, best of luck. I hope it goes well. I really do. Oh yeah, exactly. If after an interview you're rejected, you can ask them like, hey, what could I improve on my resume or in my interview? But yeah, good luck. I hope that helps, Sammy. I hope I'm not going too slowly. I want to be able to read as many of these as possible. Shinano says, I had an interview that I got absolutely wrecked by. Super deep technical question, and that made me read more papers and get ready for next time. Yeah, it's like your training arc, right? Just think of it as a stepping stone to your future success. Do not lie on your resume. Oh my gosh. Oh, silly. Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly. Not everyone gets the interview right the first time. Think of it as practice. And you can also do mock interviews as well. Mock interviews are super helpful. Drag a friend in and be like, hello, I'm interviewing for this role. Can you ask me a random question? Let's see. Sailor Rose, thank you for the question. Sailor Rose says, say you want to record vocals or draw or produce music, but as soon as you sat down to engage, that spark diminishes and you don't feel as motivated anymore. What are some ways you tackle a creative block like that? I think I talked a little bit about this, where it's like if you sit down during your work time and you don't feel it and you kind of feel unmotivated, and then turning that time, owning that time and turning it into your time where you work on something else, and then maybe later you had scheduled time to do work, but maybe that's time later you might feel motivated to do it. Creativity, it can be such a fickle thing to be motivated for. So if the time that you dedicated to being creative just ended up not being your time, maybe shift around your schedule and allow yourself to be creative when that spark hits. But if you do need to be motivated or creative, then I'd say, because I think you just gotta start and not worry about it being good. I think for me, whenever I feel not motivated to do it, it's because I'm like, oh, okay. Like I sit down like, oh, I'm not feeling motivated. This is just gonna be bad. Like, it's whatever I make is gonna be bad because I'm not feeling motivated. But if you need to record, I think, just getting started, and even if it's going to be bad because you're not motivated, I think just getting the creative juices flowing helps. But if you find yourself getting frustrated, then you should stop. Because if you find yourself getting frustrated, it's just going to make you upset. I think you're just going to end up putting yourself in a bad mindset space. So if it's more so like a sluggishness, that if you're just feeling sluggish and you need to get started, I think starting to be creative, even if it's like sluggish or slow, is a good way to get that motivation. But if you find yourself getting frustrated, you should stop for the moment. Like, just don't do it. Because I think nothing is worse for creativity and motivation than feeling pressured to do it. Yeah, planning first also helps. I think I needed to record something yesterday, but I was feeling a little unmotivated. So, but it's a project that I need to be working on like as soon as possible. So I was like, you know what? Instead, I'll do a more technical part of this. So it's like the timing part. So I was timing some of the vocals I had already recorded, and so in my head I was like, okay, I'll just work on tune timing now, and then if there's anything I don't like stylistically from the tune time, then I'll go ahead and re-record it later. So it kind of like I was getting something done in this it was a more technical part of the creative process, but sat down, got myself done, and it kind of gave me inspiration as I was doing it. I was like, oh, okay, I think I could record this part that I just, because I don't like how, like, after tune timing, I still don't like how I delivered it, like, artistically. So, like, I was like, oh, I'm excited to record this part later, because I think I can do this better. So maybe trying to find a way to still work on your project, but maybe it's not as, maybe it's a more like technical part of it. Like if you're drawing, somebody said planning. If you're producing music, try like I don't know how you would work on different aspects of your music. So like maybe if you're working on instrumental, maybe instead you can work on the lyrics. Like or you can work on the top line, like working on a different part of it. For recording vocals, if it's a song that I don't know, I'll focus more on memorizing it rather than like being like artistic about it. So like if I'm learning a song, sometimes I like learn the song as I'm singing it. It's tough. It's a very intensive process, but whenever I get roped into like a very last minute project, that's the only way I can do it is learn it as I'm like trying to also put an artistic edge to it. But if you can't find that like artistic edge to it, then you could just sit there and focus on learning the melody and just singing it like this. And then once you know it right, like better, then you can add that sort of personal artistic flair to it later. I hope that helps. Yeah. For me also, consuming art too. Like I love going to a concert and then just feeling so motivated to create art after it. Like I get seeing beautiful art and consuming that, and it really motivates me to make my own art too, so that helps as well. Oh yeah, breaks are important too. Yeah, resting periods are when Eureka's occur. I was actually talking to Riku about this. Oh my gosh, I need to search up that one Gigi quote that he always talks about. Oh my gosh, but I love his mindset. When it comes to like having a creative block. Let me see if I can search up. Cause you know how like in the movie Kiki's Delivery, I'm stealing Riku's sort of like brainworms, I guess. It's a movie about a witch who like goes out on like a coming of age sort of story. Sort of journey, and she at some point like loses the ability to fly, and it really like she like really gets into her head about it. And for her, like in order to like be able to get that back, she kind of just like did nothing. She didn't like focus on it too much. She just like let go and like didn't focus on it, and that helped her find herself again. And I think that's such a great like mindset. So yeah, I think those breaks, those times where you're not forcing yourself to come up with something amazing, is when that creativity will come back to you. Because again, creativity, artistry is very organic, so I think boxing it in too much does it a disservice. So I hope that helps. Maybe watch Kiki's delivery service. I don't know. Let's see. This is from Tasty Elephant. Hi Rita, hi. Thank you for your question. Let's see. What I'm struggling at the moment is seeing some progress and hitting life goals. I feel that I'm not getting those goals people normally hit at certain points in their lives. I'm just here getting by paycheck to paycheck, just paying off debt. I would really like to know what I can do, because it's scary to try other things when monthly payments are looming over my head. This is I appreciate people being like, oh, if it's not a good topic, it's okay. But I think this is good. I think a lot of people can benefit from, you know, knowing that they're not alone in that struggle. And hopefully my advice and my kind words are helpful. I'll break this down into a couple of things. I think the part that I resonate with the most is I feel that I'm not getting those goals that people normally hit at certain points in their lives. And I think that's a huge... I think comparison is the thief of joy, right? And I personally have to constantly remind myself that I'm my own person and I have my own schedule. I have my own desires. So I'm going to have my own goals that are going to be very different from other people. Because for some people, like, they have different life goals. They have different, like, desires in life. So their milestones are going to look very different. So I'd say, it's really tough not to compare yourself to other people. But I think that's the first place to start, is understanding and remembering that you have different desires, and so you'll have different goals, and you also have different circumstances. You have a different experience and different path, I guess. So, I guess your path is going to be very different. So it's not anything to be ashamed of. Yeah, you're your own person, and you have your own definition of success. Because that's something I really struggled with, defining what success is for myself. Because I feel like for a majority of my life, I've had this idea of what success is, and I've always wanted to attain it because I want to be like a good role model for like my sisters, or I want to help out my family and things like that. And so I've always thought like, oh, this is the only way to achieve happiness, and this is the only way to achieve success. But I've learned, that that's only one way of being successful or being happy. So you really have to find what that means for yourself, and not what somebody else defines success as. Because I think, when we're scrolling on the internet and, people only post all the glamorous things in their life, it's hard to like think about what success is for you. Because a lot of the times we have this idea in our head that success is like, oh, we're going on all these trips, or we have a lot of money, or we're always eating fancy food. That's not the only definition of success. For some people, it's feeling fulfilled, right? Feeling like you've made an impact on people. And that's not really something you can take a picture of and post on Instagram or something, right? What gives you the most joy? What makes you feel most fulfilled? So find that and own it. And it's such, I don't know why this has made me like tear up a little bit. It's very you. It's a very personal thing, and don't let anyone take that away from you. What you define as happiness and what you define as success. I think you guys are I don't know everyone's personal like story, but you all are doing great. Just find your success. Find what success means to you. Find what happiness means to you, and really, really make it yours. And yeah, I'm sure you're doing great. Okay, so next part. Let's see. Making progress when money is an issue. Oh, I feel that. For me, it's like, I don't know if this would necessarily be goal setting, but I for one try to have something I look forward to all the time. Because let me tell you, Oh, that the grind can get so monotonous. Not having things to look forward to is, oh, it can feel real Sisyphusian when you don't have anything to look forward to. You just clocking in, clocking out, day in after day. But, and again, that thing to look forward to, does it have to be, does it have to take money? Does it have to be a big trip? For me, one of the things that I look forward to a lot, because one of my goals is to maintain my friendships. Like that's like my relationships with my friends are a really important part of what makes me feel fulfilled and happy in life. And so one of my goals is to continue that that sort of connection with my friends. So one of the things that I do towards those goals is I have I have weekly hangouts, and it's something that I look forward to all the time. Like, because we have ours on Mondays. That's when we do our anime nights. I don't really get Sunday scaries, thankfully. But I used to get Sunday scaries with my first idol side job. Oh my gosh. Ooh. But it's still like, another day, another week, back at the grind, So for me, having something to look forward to on Monday makes it feel like, oh, yippee! Like, it's a Monday, I get to hang out with the girls! So that makes me excited. So having something little to look forward to, like, even if it's just like a hangout with friends where you play games, like, maybe it's not even a new game, like, maybe it's an old game, something that you can do for free, I think that's something you can look forward to. If you have free hobbies, like, maybe give yourself a weekend every month where you just dedicate it entirely to like a cheap or free event that you do either by yourself or with your friends. With that being said, I think also not feeling guilty for getting yourself small treats every now and again. Obviously, you want to be responsible with whatever income you have after bills and things like that. I don't think it'd be a bad idea to have a small sort of like fund for your little treats. I think little treats are very important if you're a little treats kind of person. I'm a little treats person. And I get a little treat maybe once every other week. And then when things get really tough, I get a treat once a week. Yeah. Because I try to motivate myself most of the time with intrinsic motivation. But sometimes, like, an edit or something is, like, really, really tough, and I'm, like, really, really proud of myself, so I get myself a treat afterwards. Or, I'm having trouble getting this edit done, and I need to do it tomorrow. I may or may not be talking about the Xenoblade video, and it's like, oh gosh, I just need something to push me forward. You know that one gif of... what's his name from Jujutsu Kaisen? Choso? That one gif where he's like, he has like his hands to his head. That was me, and I was like, I just need a silly little treat to finish this video edit. Me as the Choso gif. And so I got myself a little treat. I got a burger and fries and a drink. And I did it. Woohoo! So, I don't know. I think a small treat fund, even if it's like $5 a week, I think that's fine. But yeah, you can do it. I know it can feel so mundane and so like tiresome doing the whole like paycheck to paycheck grind. But I think finding that humanity, because it can feel so like dystopian, right? Like, I gotta clock in, I gotta clock out, and oh man, I feel you. But I think being able to find those very human moments outside of the dystopian grind can really ground you. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna click the JJK gift. This is precisely it. This is me at like 2 a.m, like trying to get this edit done, but like I couldn't like find the motivation. I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with where this is right now, but if I keep working, I'm not gonna be able to do anything productive. So I put down the mouse, I went to bed, and then I resumed in the morning when I was no longer Choso. Yes. But yeah, all in moderation. That's why I was saying I think like having a budget for it is helpful, and being very disciplined about it I think would be helpful. Best of luck, Tasty Elephant. I hope you find your joy. I really do. It can be very difficult, but I believe in. I hope that helps. Oh, this is a long one. Okay, let me whatchamacallit. Let me skim. Okay. I'm gonna read this one. I think this is a very yes, I'll read this one. This is from a concerned chat participant. Okay. This is from concerned chat participant. With the exception of maybe the rare instance of an obvious bot here or there, I have never used the block function for other users on YouTube for live stream chats. I didn't know you could do that. Can I be honest? I thought that was like something only a streamer could do. But yeah, I've never really had to, since nobody's ever really gotten on my nerves enough or often enough to necessitate me essentially making that person and everything they say completely invisible to me during live streams. Despite the— wait, hold on. Did I miss a line? Okay. Despite this, over time, I've noticed a handful of other users, not necessarily a lot, but a handful big enough to notice after a while, within this specific community. I don't know if you mean like this specific community as in the Archangels, or like the specific community that you are thinking about in your head, that apparently felt it necessary to block me. I don't know if they know that I know that they have me blocked, or if they care. But either way, I need to confess that the fact that it's something that upsets me, hurts my feelings, and makes me angry. That's because I was under the impression that I was contributing, and maybe even appreciated a member of these communities. Well, I'm obviously not perfect, and we all make mistakes. I generally can't conceive of anything that I have said or done, or participating in chats anything I've said or done while participating in chats ever being even remotely egregious enough to reasonably justify needing to block me. It seems like only the most extremely fragile and petty kind of person. Well, we don't know everyone's circumstances, but I'll continue reading. Okay. Every time, let's see. Every time I'm reminded that they have me blocked. Let's see. I see. I'm gonna skip some of the more more personal stuff, if that's okay. It just makes me want to ask them, what did I do wrong? What did I ever do to you? I understand. I can understand that. First of all, one or two of the people that I've noticed. Let me see. I'm gonna actually skip this part because I don't want to do anything that's specifically like calling out specific people. But I can understand where you're coming from. Let me skip to the very bottom. Am I reacting to something I should be ignoring? Should I just inherently not care about the opinions of anyone who does that? Or maybe is there an alternative explanation? Or maybe without knowing it, am I the actual problem here and not them? Wow. I want to say, before I, respond, the fact that that's a question you're asking. And I'm not saying that you are the problem, but the fact that you are able to ask that question, I think a lot of people can't do that for themselves. That's not to say that you are. I'm going to go back and actually answer your question now. I think people. Okay, let me. This is a big question, so I'm gonna try to break this down as best as I can. You mentioned that you yourself have never used the block function for people. I think understanding that for some people, the way their tolerance for creating boundaries in their space, that can be very different for people. And I think being able to recognize that can help a little, because being blocked does feel very personal, right? Like it feels like a punishment almost, right? But that's not necessarily the case. And I think, for some people, everyone's sort of level of tolerance is very different. Because you never know what is triggering for someone. I think that, I think there was something here that I wanted to dip into. Yeah, so, you might say something that you think is relatively, harmless or benign, but for someone it might be triggering. And for them, maybe what's the most beneficial way, because again, it takes a lot of emotional energy to like, reach out to someone and be like, hey, and like explain, why what you say is what you say. And someone's chat isn't really the place to do that. So, the best way for them that isn't, emotionally draining or, I guess difficult, the best way for them to do that is to just, use the block function, because it's like that's how you create your boundaries, right? Create your space. And I think it's hard to not take that personally, right? Because I think a lot of people associate, if it's like, oh, if someone doesn't like what they say, they obviously don't like me, right? Like that's the assumption that you have. But again, it may be that like something that you said, just, it's not that they don't like you, but maybe something that you say reminded them of a traumatic memory, or like maybe even like the way that you, I don't know, like the way the cadence in which you write, I guess, maybe is traumatic, triggers a traumatic memory for them. And I think, maybe for you it's like, oh, that seems like a lot, going to the action of blocking someone. But for someone that's, for them, I guess, necessary. For them, that's necessary. I think being able to recognize that for some people, like their boundaries are different, and not taking it personally. Because no, I totally understand what you mean. I can. It's very valid to feel personally, I think, attacked. But I think remembering that it's not like you. It's not always that. Okay, I'm gonna go back up. John says, sometimes people block others for no good reason. If it's you, problem get better. If not, then they did you a favor. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. If people are considering, yeah, I would say on the flip side, if it is like a lot, if it is like a considerable amount of people, I think that maybe, yes, you should consider that maybe it might be something that, if it's like a trend, then maybe consider. And you put at the very bottom of your question, so I really appreciate your open-mindedness and like this is a very like good faith sort of like question. Like I don't think that you're being very cynical about it. I think you're being very open and honest, and I appreciate that. So I think if it is like someone had mentioned, like also let me make sure I'm not missing any chat. Okay, awesome. I'm just making sure I'm not missing any chat messages. Things like we talked about this before. This is great. We talked about this at the end of a Xenoblade stream. Conversations are two-way streets, right? And with, like Markurian said, over text messages, you can't read other people's tones and intentions. So, on one hand, you have to be careful about how you say things, but also you also have to consider how you take other people's responses to you. So, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, I totally lost my train of thought. Uh-oh. But yeah, I think, and it might be frustrating because you might think to yourself like, oh, how am I supposed to know what I did wrong, right? If they just block me and, they won't, like, I won't even be able to, because for some people, like, again, like maybe they felt uncomfortable and, the blocking for them was how they created their space to be safe, to feel safe and secure, right? Because at the end of the day, like, not it's not like, not every moment is teachable, right? Like, hopefully you'll be able to find, like, if you're, because that's a door that's closed. Like, maybe you can have that sort of teachable learning moment in the future. But yeah, I don't know. Just went through something similar recently. This is healing things for you viewpoint. No, absolutely. I think I really respect concerned chat participant. I really respect your your introspectiveness on this matter. I think maybe because again you interact with people from all different experiences and cultures, and for you it's like, yes, maybe like in your culture, in your family, in your spaces, like the things that you say are friendly even, or like kind or silly or funny, but maybe like in like the internet space or whatever reason, like it's taken differently. So maybe it's not like your intentions are nice or good, but it's not coming across that way. So I think maybe finding a way that you can convey in a way that's meaningful and authentic to you, be more positively outwardly, I think would be beneficial. Would it be wise to make another account just to reach out to them, apologize, and also try to find out what happened? I think that would be a little bit invasive, because if they blocked you, then it means that they put up a boundary, right? And I think it might be a little bit invasive to try to circumvent that boundary. And I want to say it probably feels very like it does hurt, like not being able to have that avenue, right? But I think you can definitely find that avenue to grow and to learn with other individuals. It's sad that road has closed, but there's so many other roads out there for you to walk down. So yeah, I don't know, but I can understand you're wanting to repair, right? I think that's a very natural thing to want to repair things, and I think I can understand that. But I think that boundary has been set, and I think respecting that would be the best way to, I guess apologize, or if that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, I think. Mm-hmm. 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 But I mean, if it's someone like or like if you think that, I mean, I don't know. But that's just my opinion, idea. It's very circumstantial. I think if it's like a random stranger on the internet, maybe like trying to make new accounts to reach out to them might feel like an attack. Like the other person might feel like, oh my gosh, they're stalking me. But if it's someone like well, and you've known them for a while, you think it's something that you could repair, you think it'd be, reaching out and trying to repair that, I think wouldn't be bad if you do that in a way that doesn't feel like an attack to their boundaries. Again, very circumstantial. I think, if you feel it is appropriate to try to repair, if there is an avenue to repair that relationship that won't overstep their boundaries, I think maybe if you'd like to try to apologize, then yeah. Yeah. But I think if it takes up so much of your time, and because I feel like I feel like moving on and like finding a new avenue where you can grow and perhaps find a new relationship might be more, because obviously like maybe a quick like, hey, I'm sorry, like that's fine. But if you find yourself stuck and you find yourself kind of like ruminating and like your negativity is festering, or if you find yourself not obsessing over it, but like a lot of your emotional bandwidth and your mind space is taken up with repairing the past, I feel like maybe if you're not getting any sort of benefit out of that, maybe you might want to consider moving on to the future, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, it's like if they don't have the emotional bandwidth for you, then that's just how it is, and you gotta find someone who does, if that makes sense. But I think don't be so, I guess, aggressive about it. If you do feel the need, like, and you really have to think about it, like, is this just to like make you feel better, or is this really because one, you want to get better for other people, is like, you know, you as a person want to be better. You want to be better for the people that you interact with in the future, and you owe, like, you feel like you owe like an apology to that person. Then yeah, like, it wouldn't hurt to try. I think being able to like convey that, like, hey, you know, this is like, and then like don't try to make them feel bad or anything. Don't like have any sort of expectation for the response, because like maybe they won't respond, and you just gotta leave it at that and move on. I think really understand like why you're doing it and go into it with a positive mind. I don't know, I'm rambling now. I've kind of, you know, sorry if my response is too ramble. But yeah, I hope that helps. Again, I don't think you are overreacting. I think you're entitled to feel how you feel. Because again, like, just like how, you know, the person felt like that's like the blocking is what they needed to do, I think for you, like, this is something that is, you know, important to you. Because it's something that makes you feel upset. I can like respect that you know, own that. And that it's that you recognize that. I don't think that it's that you shouldn't care, but I think you should definitely consider that, you know, maybe it's not a personal thing, or that maybe if it is a trend, like maybe, yeah, like I don't know. So, and again, maybe you having this sort of, I guess, behavior that some people find, you know, triggering, that may not necessarily be like a personal thing. Like, it's just something you gotta work on, and that's okay. I think like even I have stuff that I like need to work on, and I don't think that makes me a bad person. I think everyone has things that they could work on, but that doesn't make them a bad person. So I think if you feel like it's a trend, then maybe evaluate what it is. If you happen to notice what it is that you tend to be like blocked on, like you mentioned, like dad jokes. So like, you know, jokes are funny, jokes are great, and like, you know, maybe that's how, like, maybe it just doesn't go across well on the internet, and you know that's how it is, right? You can't really tell people's intentions. Then you know, it's not a person. Well, it probably does feel personal, right? But understand that it's not that like, it's not that they hate you or anything, or you know, that's not the case. Like, it may be just like, like some verbiage is like triggering, or it's, I don't know. Like, it's just a boundary that they're setting, and I think respecting that boundary is important, right? Because everyone has different boundaries and tolerances. I think respecting that is important, but you know, try not to take it too personally. But if it is a trend, then maybe consider that the way that you come across sometimes may be not how you intend. But I really appreciate your question, and I'm sorry that you feel as if you are not appreciated. I hope that, you know, I hope that you're able to, and let me make sure I'm not missing anything while I like wrap up. I probably will, but that's okay. I think that I hope you can still find your space. I don't know, like I don't know how do I want to verbalize what I'm thinking about in my head. I think what I said is what I want. I can't think of a summary, but I hope that helps. Yeah, everyone has a boundary. It's different for each person. I hope you don't take that too personally. But I can understand why it upsets you. So, sorry, I'm not very good with big paragraphs. It's very important that you have all the details, but I'm really bad at like making sure I hit all the points that I want to hit. But yeah, I don't think you're a bad person. I think people just have different boundaries, and if it is something that is a behavioral trend, then that's just something that you need to work on. Everyone has something they need to work on, and that's okay. That doesn't make you a bad person. So I hope that helps. Concerned chat participant. Yeah. I hope that helps. But yeah, I think that. I hope that my various ramblings together formed a very helpful advice. But yeah, I hope you were able to digest it with my ramblings. Yeah. Being imperfect is not a crime. That is true. Yep. Sorry, I'm just making sure I didn't miss any chat messages. Yeah, exactly. This is a really important point mentioned. You're not going to be accepted by everyone. That's just the nature of things, right? And it's harmful. It's upsetting when it's like people that you want to be, like it's in a space that you want to be in, as very well respected, or people that maybe, and this is in different circumstances, maybe it's someone you respect or someone you look up to, and you know, not everyone's just not everyone's gonna mesh, right? Different sort of like behaviors, different cultures, experiences, like ways of doing things. So you're not gonna be accepted by everyone, and rejection is inevitable. But I can understand why it feels especially upsetting when it's like it within a certain space that you like being in. But yeah. Yeah. But yeah. I hope that you're able to find your... Because like I mentioned, it can feel upsetting because it feels like a road that's been closed or like a pathway that's been closed. But I hope you're able to find that path where you can make that sort of change that you feel that you want to make with other people like that. I don't know. I think I'm continuing to ramble. Yeah. I think it's perfect and mistakes are made. Failure is natural, not something to fear, but to learn from. Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Okay. Hope that helps. Sorry if most of it was rambling. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh, wow. This is a very important question. This has to do with not me, but a concern. So if you have any concerns about negative behavior in someone's community, I would say reach out to that person's email. If they have like a contact email, I would reach out to that talent themselves. I really appreciate you looking out for this individual, and I think that's probably the best way to do that. I hope that helps. Maybe if you haven't, reached out to, if you haven't heard back from that person in a while, maybe reach out to another person that interacts with that person a lot and reach out with your concerns there. But I appreciate you. I know this seems very vague, but yeah, if you have any concerns about bad behavior in somebody else's community, yeah, I think you should definitely reach out to that talent. Yeah. I hope that helps. Thank you for your concern. Okay. Next question. Oh my gosh. Oh, let me go to Google Translate. I'm sorry, it is in a different language, so I apologize if I misunderstand your question. Okay, this is from Lord, is it Sinte? Hello, Rita. Again, this is Google translated, so I apologize if it's not conveyed properly. Lately, I've had a lot of ideas for art, but I'm not very sure I can even closely transfer the image onto the canvas as I imagine it. Right, going from your brain to the canvas is so difficult. Let's see. The last time I tried to draw was 5 years ago. I was thinking about buying a graphics tablet, but is it worth the investment when you have no talent or experience? What advice can you give me? That's a great question. What is your goals with creating art? And what is like your current circumstance? I think those are two really important things. If you want to if for you art is more of a hobby, and that's a different story than if you want to make art like a career. So I'll start with the hobby. I think if you have the money for it and you know you're gonna use it a lot, and you think it'll bring, it will like contribute to your, if you think you'll have a better creative outlet if you get a graphics tablet and you have the money for it, I think you should get it. If you're gonna use it for a long time, if you are gonna get a lot out of it, then I think you should go for it. If you don't have the funds for it and it's more of like an art, like a hobby thing, I think maybe you set a fund or a budget that like maybe you set aside some money every month that goes towards this graphics tablet. If you think that traditional art isn't your style and it's more digital that you want to do, I think that could be something that you... Because again, if it's for a hobby, you don't really need to have talent or experience. And if you feel like you're not good at the graphics tablet, then getting it and trying it out and learning it and getting better at it is how you get experience. And if you don't need talent to have fun and enjoy art, art is meant to be enjoyed by anybody. So, yeah. But if it's for work, if you feel like, if you want to have a career in art, specifically digital art, then yeah, I think it's worth the investment. Again, if you want to start your journey to becoming a professional artist, you have to start somewhere. I think maybe starting off with basics on paper. Again, if you don't have the money for it, if you have the money for it, then yes, it is worth it. You're investing in yourself for the future, so might as well get it. But if you don't have the money for it now, definitely practice on paper. I think there's a lot of fundamentals you can do without buying a graphics tablet. On paper, you can draw lines, shapes, shading, things like that. And then once you've saved up enough money, then you can transfer those fundamentals that you learned on paper digitally. Yeah, because I think starting from fundamentals is very important. If you don't have any experience or talent. Yeah, exactly. Start with pencil and paper in the meantime. Honestly, would recommend just buying a regular tablet that has a stylus. That's true. Yeah, if you don't have a computer, a tablet is probably a good idea too. Yeah, buy one that's affordable, but don't cheap out because, it's also like an investment in yourself. So something that like is good quality and lasts a long time will save you money in the future. So, yeah. Heard what to practice your fundamentals, very important. But yeah, I'm not really a visual artist. I'm very bad at drawing, but I think like looking at references and like learning anatomy is really important. Learning fundamentals like shape, color, like shading, things like that. Yeah. So yeah, find something within your price range and get something that's a quality. Yeah. I hope that helps. Okay. Thank you for your question. Okay, I hope I'm gonna try to get through as many as I can. But I'm getting kinda hungry. It's almost time for me to eat my lunch. Let's see. Okay. Okay. This is from Mysterious Fan T-san. Thank you for your question. I'm struggling to keep my social battery up when I'm hanging out with others. For example, whenever I meet up with my friends, I'd want to go home after conversing with them for a couple hours. But it's too late to be the cool and quiet type of a person. People kept mistaking me for being upset when my social battery runs out. But when I tell them I'm simply tired, they just get confused. So lately, I've been avoiding any social gathering that exceeds 4 people. I think if it's a group of friends that like you're close to, like you can confide in, I think maybe like maybe they're not like so much casual friends, because like maybe it's difficult to have this conversation with like new friends or casual friends. So I would say yeah, maybe not in those situations. Like maybe it's hard to have more. Well, the thing is, it also depends, because like I'm friends, I like a lot of my new friends are also people who like have the like, I guess, the socialization, like where they understand what social battery is, like, so I don't need to go through the trouble of explaining it to them. I could, like, even though they're new friends to me, they're all people, not all, but I think a lot of them are like have been in an environment where they know what that is. And so I can easily just be like, sorry guys, my spoons are, I kind of ran out of spoons, or like my social battery's kind of dead. It's been super awesome hanging out. I'll hang out with you guys later, and like they can just, you know, they understand. But if it's a situation where, you know, you're not in an environment where that's a common thing that people know, I think starting off with your close friends, right? Maybe not in the situation, like not at the space, because obviously you won't have the energy to explain it. Like, but maybe through message when you do have the emotional energy for it. Maybe not during a hangout. You know, just be like, hey, like, I just wanted to, like, something I wanted to talk about, just like a random thing, you know, but like, you know, explain that whole like social battery. Like, I just have a hard time, you know, I don't have a lot of energy in social situations. Like social situations, no matter the person, tire you out, you know, yourself out. So explaining that to them, like, it's not like a personal thing. Like, it's not that I don't want to hang out with you guys, but I just get social situations in any case tire me out. Like explaining that in a casual way, you know, if they ask any like for like further clarification, you know, you can give them that. But having that at least with your close friends is important. Invest in solar energy. Oh, if only I could. My goodness. So I'd say for people that don't, what do you mean by they get confused? Well, obviously anonymous. This is, you don't have to answer the question. But, like, you're tired. Like, how could you be tired? I'm trying to wonder. Like, do people ask you, like, how are you tired? You could just be like, oh, hey, sorry. Like I have to head out. Like, you know, I have another, I have another commitment. Or, you know, like, I have work in the morning. Or like, hey, thanks for hanging out. Like, you know, I gotta start heading back. Like, it's, I don't know, it's getting kind of late. Like, I got some, maybe not, you don't have to, like, lie, but, you know, you could just be like, you know, like, oh, sorry, I gotta start baking dinner. Like, I feel like nice people aren't gonna be like, oh, what? You're tired. Like, I think, you know, nice people that you'd want to surround yourself with, you know, of course, they're gonna be like, oh, like, I'm sorry to hear that. Because, of course, they want to spend more time with you. But I think, you know, again, nice people will be like, oh, well, we'll miss you. Have fun. You know, they'll want to hang out with you more, but they'll understand that you know, need to go home. You have other life responsibilities. Like, people, like, I think as you get older, people will understand, like, you have, like, work in the morning, or, like, I have chores to do, or, like, I have a bed that needs me in it. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I think communicating is the best way. But again, you know, not every situation is the perfect situation to have like a deep conversation about, you know, emotional bandwidth and social bandwidth. So, yeah. I think so. Yeah, like, I think, you know, if you feel comfortable enough to have the conversation, like, hey, sorry, like, you know, I only have so much space to be social. I think people will understand. I think people who you want to surround yourself with will understand and respect that boundary for you. Because I have a lot of friends who are introverts. I think one time, I think, like, I went out to get lunch with some of my friends. And one of my friends who I'm really close with, she was like, she kind of like tuned out. And I was like, hey, are you okay? And she was like, yeah, I'm just like, my social battery is kind of dead, but like, I don't want to leave because I'd feel bad. Because it was a birthday. And I was like, no, you should like take care of yourself. I don't think, you know, anyone would feel bad about it. So, yeah, I was like, yeah, and, you know, she let everyone know, and everyone was super respectful about it. I think, yeah. because to me she explained it, but for everyone else she's like, hey guys, I gotta head back, sorry. And she didn't even have to give an explanation, right? Because she, of course, again, didn't want to have to go through in that time, she didn't have the energy, right, to explain that to everyone, because that takes up energy to explain how you're feeling. So for her it was like, hey guys, sorry, I gotta head out now. And everyone's like, okay, bye. So well, the thing is, it was a mixed friend group, so I was the only person that she really knew, because there was someone that we knew like in that group, but like we were the closest, and for everyone else it was like we didn't know everyone. And for her, and that's okay if she didn't feel comfortable, like it for people that you don't know, sometimes things take a lot more energy to talk about than if it's someone that you already know, right? Because there's a lot less things you have to explain to the person you know. So like, and it's not even that like things that you have to explain, just interacting with people that you know, for a lot of people takes up a lot less energy. So she just didn't have that energy to expend, so to explain everything. So she was like, sorry, I have to head out. And she did, because she didn't have a social battery. So everyone was very respectful of that, and she was bye. So hopefully that helps. I hope you can continue to have these enjoyable social gatherings. And honestly, like, if you feel like social gatherings with more than 4 people isn't your thing, then that's okay. Like, I'm not a big party person either. Or if you're in a party, if there's a small group of people that you can just have a corner with those people. That's what I do. But then I end up like, I was actually talking about this with my friends the other day. So it was a birthday party for someone I knew in like the theater thing that I did, and she invited like her, like the theater friends that we made in the last production, and then a bunch of her like other friends, not like who are like into theater but like not in the production that we're in. So like beforehand I was like, oh, I want to go because it's her birthday, but I don't know if I have like the spoons for it. Yeah, but I really want to go. But I went and I found like my little group of people there, and that I knew, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, hi, hello. And I kind of like unwinded a little bit, I recharged, we sat on the floor, like had our little circle, and then I was like, okay, I feel like recharged, I'm gonna go hang out and talk to like new people. It was fun. Yeah. So but yeah, if you're more of a small shindig person, there's no shame in that. Should I do advice column Sundays? I have a lot of like questions. I'm only halfway through, but I might have to wrap up soon. So if you all want this to be a regular thing, I'm very honored that you all place a lot of importance into my words. I try my best to give as coherent thoughts as I can. We can try it out, see how it goes. Yeah. Maybe like every other week or something. That'd be nice. Because again, like, it does take a lot of like emotional energy to do these. Because it takes a lot of like emotional labor to like think about it. But it's not something I wouldn't want to do. It's just like, it does get tiring. As does anything else that requires labor, right? But I think it'd be nice. I hope that, because I think the one of the biggest parts, one of the biggest weights of emotional labor, this like doing advice streams, is like I always can't help but think like, oh, I wonder if that was good enough advice, or like I hope that came across well, or like thinking about like, oh, I hope that they were able to take it positively. I hope I was able to convey it positively. So that's a really big part of like the emotional labor of doing things like this, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think just talking it out and like getting a new perspective, I can understand that. I can see how that's very helpful. Yeah. Okay, I'll do a few more and then I'll wrap up for the day, and then hopefully we can continue these next time. We can just use the same like sheets, and I'll just highlight the ones I already responded to. Yeah, journaling has the same effect too, because I feel like journaling also, like, as I write down my thoughts, it makes me think about things that I normally wouldn't have thought of. Like, it gives me a new perspective. Let's see. Sneak Yawa, thank you so much for your question. I have an old PC from my old friends. My parents suggested I should throw it out. I don't want to do it, but should I let go of my old friend's hardworking PC, or should I throw it out? Even if the PC is slow. Ah. Ah. Like, you don't want to throw away something that belonged to your friend. Is it something that you feel like you are gonna get use out of? Or is it like, for you, it's more of like a memorabilia? Like, are you holding on to it because, like, your friend is gonna want it later? I think if it's something that your friend, like, doesn't want... I see you, by the way, Sneaky Alice. So you can respond to my, like, my follow-up questions if you want. You don't have to, but I'll kind of, like, give my thoughts. You want to remember them by. That's fair. That makes sense. I think you should keep it then. I think if you have the space for it, if it's something that... I don't know. Like, maybe it's like a... Well, it's like... We're gonna go Marie Kondo. If you have the space for it, if it's not like... yeah, I think if you have the space to hold it, it should be fine. Why throw it out? It's just gonna end up in a landfill, right? You're repurposing it into something that's like a memorabilia. And you have space for it, and it's not like taking up a lot of space. You can keep it and get a new PC. That's true. Like, if you want to repurpose it, yeah, you can like turn it into like an art or something, or you can take out some of the bits and baubles, still hold on. Because I wonder, because for you, it's the fact that they put it together. Is it the fact that they put it together? Like, is it the way that it is now is something that you want to preserve? Exactly, like Shiva Theseus. Like, at what point would it no longer be your friend's PC? Because I want to respect that. Like, that's the whole like idea, right? Is it's your friend's PC. So I wonder if like taking it apart would be against that, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think holding on to it or recycling it, or like, because again, like, I can understand like it's something that your friend that reminds you of your friend. But like maybe your friend would want to see it continuing on, or like maybe you can have it be recycled. Like maybe keep a part of it to remember your friend by. Maybe you can frame that. But you know, things change, and like it's not, I don't think it's disrespectful to their hard work if you take it apart, recycle it, you know, give it to somebody else who needs a computer, like give it some new life, right? If you're not using it, and if you feel like you can still, you know, feel like you can remember your friend by it, you know, give it new life by giving it to someone who needs it, like donating it, or like give it to a school or something if they can use it, you know, use some of the parts and donate some of the parts that you can't use, recycle some of the parts you can't use. I think finding new life for it, would it be bad? I think yeah, you could take pictures of it if you want. You can yeah, something like that. But again, like, you know, if you feel like you're gonna use it later, or maybe I think if it doesn't take up space, you can also just hold on to it. Yeah, I think it really depends on you. In what form do you think it would be best kept at? Because if you want to keep it as it is, right? If the work of putting it together is important for you to preserve, then maybe you can donate the whole thing to somebody who needs it. But if you feel like, you know, holding on to just like a piece of it and then recycling, reusing different parts of it is, you know, I guess carrying on the torch, then yeah, I think it depends for you. But I hope those were helpful ideas. Of course, you're welcome. I hope that helped. Okay. I'm gonna try to do 15. This is question 14. This is from Nyx. What tips would you recommend when sticking to a routine? I can never seem to commit to things I want to do in fear of making things too repetitive or mundane. True and real. What works for me? I'd say giving yourself a period of time where you have to do a collection of things, but not in any specific order. So like giving yourself, like I used to do this. I haven't done this recently because of my crazy schedule, where I am like, okay, I'm awake from like, I don't know, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And this is the time that my morning routine, but that morning routine can look like whatever. Like, yes, I'll brush my teeth and eat food, but that can be whatever order. Like, maybe I'll read a book first, or like maybe I didn't clean yet, so I'll do those. So like maybe if you can, make like a morning routine to-do list, and like as you think of things that like, oh my gosh, I don't have space, I don't have time right now to clean my room, so maybe I'll add that to my morning schedule, like as a list of things to do. So like you have something new you could try during this hour. So like maybe like you have the routine of it being an hour, right, in the morning where you have time to yourself, but you look to your little like morning routine list and you have different things, you know, every day, every week, where it's like, oh, okay, well, this week's been really hectic, so I haven't been able to clean, so this week maybe I'll have more cleaning in my morning routine. Like 15 minutes of cleaning whatever I can, right? That's such a great way to get stuff cleaned though, because it's like, when you think like, oh, I have to clean, but then you gamify it and you're like, okay, I have to clean as much as I can in 15 minutes, like you get so much more done, I feel, than being like, oh, okay, I have 2 hours to clean, like I need to clean my room or my apartment or whatever for 2 hours. It feels a lot more like a game, like, okay, I need to clean as much as I can in this room for 15 minutes. But yeah, I think maybe making a little selection of like things you can do for your morning routine. Like maybe you have a backlog of books you need to read, and that could be an option. Maybe you can add yoga as some of the things. So like you have a list to remind you what things you can do, but you don't have to do the same thing every day. I hope that helped. I should steal that idea for myself. Oh my gosh. This is from Peace and Doves. What are some general tips on drawing healthy boundaries? That's a great question. Very broad. So I'll try to answer this as best as I can. Drawing boundaries. Because I feel like you can express that in so many different ways. Like in like what spaces? Like work, school, like here, I'll give you all a poll. Do you all want to hear this in terms of like work and school, or in terms of like relationships? Yeah, I can use that cleaning advice. It helps. Like sometimes when I like get really like, for whatever reason, I can't get my brain to do anything, and I just get really upset at myself for not being able to do anything, and I'm just rotting away in bed. I like get up and I'm like, okay, 15 minutes, just do whatever. Doesn't like 15 minutes to clean, you don't have to finish anything, just pick up whatever you can, like don't get distracted. Like that's how I get myself back up. I turn it into a game because I'm a pro gamer. Okay, well, I guess I'll talk about this since we've done a lot of like relationship sort of stuff. I'll do one like I guess in like a work and like school sort of thing. I think clearly expressing your needs is very important to drawing your boundary, because I think as soon as you lax on your boundaries, like let's say your boundary is I need to leave the office at 5 or whatever, like that's an example. If you're very like for whatever reason, like maybe you have like commitments after that time, like maybe you have a family, or maybe you have important me time, like you know, like maybe you need to, like that's your way of getting your work-life balance, and work-life balance is important for you. You know, be like expressing that clearly to your employer. And I feel like, you know, and if you're in a place where it's like they don't respect you or they don't hear you out, like if work-life balance is important to you, finding a workplace that respects your work-life boundaries is very important. But kind of like explain to your employer, like, hey, like I've noted, like if you notice that, like, you know, you've been kept a lot longer than you like normally do, like hey, this has been a little bit detrimental to my work-life balance, like if it, like, you know, if it's at all possible, you know, please respect this. But obviously you have to find a way to verbalize it, but you know, express your concern, express your boundary, and like how it's affecting you. And like I think if your employer is nice, they should respect that. But I think being very clear up front is very important, and sticking to that, because as soon as people will like notice like, oh, okay, well, this boundary that they've expressed isn't very like strong, people might take advantage of that. So like if your boundary is like, yes, I need to go home at 5 o'clock every day, you should stick to it. If that is your boundary, right? That's an example. Because if someone's like, hey, can you stick around? And like, maybe that's an exception. Like maybe they really do need the help. But if it's something that that you feel isn't worth pushing your boundary, then you'd be sorry. Like, I have another commitment. I do have to head out. Like, maybe you could ask so and so for help. But this is like, I have to. You don't even have to say like, this is a boundary. I need to. But showing that, right? Showing that boundary. You don't have to necessarily like say it exactly like that. You don't have to be super pedantic about it. You don't need to be like super corporate speak about it, right? You can express your boundaries in a very natural way. At work, keep it ironclad, true and real. Yeah, and of course, again, with friends, you could be a lot more organic about it, for sure. Figuring out what boundaries are more flexible and which are more strict, and yeah, exactly. Very important. Very important. Saying no is hard. As someone who's a little bit of a people pleaser, saying no is very difficult. But yeah, you can. What helps, I guess, is saying no in like. Because I think for me, like saying no means I can't help someone. So like it's like but like it's like I don't want to do a disservice to myself either. So. If you have a hard time saying no because you're like me and you like helping people, you can start off by being like, sorry, I can't, but maybe so-and-so can help you. Or like helping in a different way, right? Like I'm sorry, I have something, like I don't have the time this week to help out with this like project or whatever, but like maybe reach out to so-and-so, or have you like maybe try this. Like help out in a smaller way that like maybe doesn't take up as much time. And then in the future, you can just be like, hey, sorry, I got a jet. And then you can just leave it there. If you really need to go. So, like, I think that's one way that I've learned to say no. But, yeah, like, oh, do you want to work on this project? I'm like, oh, I don't have the energy for it. So, yeah. Once you say no and set a boundary, you may see less pressure come to you. Yeah, I think people will respect your boundaries if you respect your boundaries. Oh, that was cool. Wow, that was cool. I said something cool. Yeah. As a team manager at your office, you agree, express your boundaries so you can work it into your schedule. Exactly. Communication is key. Communication is key. Yeah. But I have reached my 15-question goal. So for the rest of the questions, thank you so much for sending them in. Maybe like in 2 weeks, I'll do another one. And I'll use the same form. So I'll try to catch up on some of these. Maybe I'll temporarily close it for now so I can finish my backlog. And then for the one after that, I can start opening up more. So I'll press close. No longer accepting responses at the moment. I'll say, this form is not how do I edit this? No, this form is closed for the moment. May reopen in the future when the submission backlog is clear. Thank you for understanding. Okay! Alright, well, thank you all so much for, being so open-minded and trusting me with your concerns, and for, holding so much respect for things that I have to say. And I really cherish that, you all confide in me, and I hope that I was able to offer a little bit of positivity and insight, even though I ramble. I am just a girl. You know, not a licensed professional, but I hope that, you know, airing it out helped you feel a little bit better. Hearing a new perspective, either from me or the Archangels. I hope that felt good. You know, maybe this was a good stepping stone for conversations that you want to have with your friends, your family, your loved ones, your coworkers, yourself, conversations with yourself. You're like a trusted professional. Yeah, I hope that helped a lot. Thank you for sharing your boundary and closing the forms until you answer the current ones. Of course. But yeah, I you know, I like to offer my help when I can. Saying thank you so much for the super sticker. Very much appreciated. And Vivek, thank you again for the super chat from earlier. I'm glad you find it very comfy. Oh my gosh, you know what I haven't done yet? I need to export my schedule. So let's sit and do that. Let's chat while I double check my schedule and I export it. I was so in the zone with my Xenoblade edit that I forgot to double check my calendar. So I will. Oh my gosh. Little old me. And a water check, by the way. Any fan art requests? Oh my gosh! Oh wow, that's a great question. That's a fun question. Let me think. And Junkie, thank you so much for the diamond super sticker. Fan art request? Okay. What's coming up next week? Here, let me verbalize it. Oh, I was gonna try to do Mario Kart with Nick, but unfortunately Nick has had some computer issues, so I don't know. Hey yo. I say yo to Nick sometimes because he'll say like yo dude, so I'll message hey yo. I got to put my schedule out. Now that's why it wasn't finalized yet, because I didn't know if that was gonna be set. Is it cool? So I hope you don't mind. There you go. Hope you don't mind if I schedule Mario Kart to the week after. Okay, that's perfect. I want to do a VR chat stream. I was thinking of trying out my chibi model, so there's that. So we'll do VR chat, chibi model next week, and then what should I do for my weekend stream? Because I was thinking of doing Xenoblade during the week. And then... let me... Here, I have an idea. Maybe I could try this new game. Hold on. Let me double check. Dun, 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 dun. Yes. Okay. I want to play a new game. Okay, we'll do it this time again. Yeah. Yeah, it's called Moses and Plato, Last Train to Clawville. It's a Toge Productions game. So I'll play it then. It's like a investigative adventure. And it's a point and click visual novel, so I think it'd be fun, like we can do some voice acting and stuff. But yeah, I think they're a cool studio. So they're the ones who did A Space for the Unbound. Yeah. So I think it'd be fun. So we'll do that next week. Like the same time as this one. I think it'd be fun. Okay! It's a demo. So we'll be doing, we'll be playing the demo then. Yay! Okay. Nice. Yeah! So we'll see. Hopefully the demo goes well. I'm excited. Alright. Now you know my schedule. Now I gotta put it together. So we'll do a little work session right now. Okay, I have to open their press kit and get a logo so I can put it on my schedule. Okay, now I gotta move my calendar around. Da-da-dum. Da-da-dum. Da-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. 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 This is my idle music. When I'm idling, this is what I sing. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Wow. A bonus song is always relaxing. True. Wow. Wow. Oh, sorry. To go back to your question. Oh my gosh. So I got distracted. Fan art requests. Ah! Is it too much to ask for Xenoblade? I really like you. Well, you might not know my favorite character, Xenoblade. It's funny. I actually pulled up my messages. Well, because I was gonna message Nick that I had to reschedule. But the last message I sent to Nick was 2 pictures of Tyon because I was explaining. I was gushing about Xenoblade, and I was like, "This is my favorite character. Can I show you my favorite character?" And the last things I said to him were like reference pictures of Tyon. Oh, and then before that, I sent the Yoinky Spoinky gif of like Ryan like dancing. Do I want Tyon to be the? No, it doesn't have to be. But my favorite characters are Tyon, Uni. I love all of them though, honestly. Genshin, Honkai. Well, I those things I really like. But fan art requests. Oh, I don't know. Maybe some because I don't know if I'll play any more Let's School. Because that would be cute. Like, Professor or Headmaster Rita would be cute. So me as a hero. Honestly, I'm honored with any fan art. So whatever you feel, is how you want to express your appreciation. I think I'd be very honored. But yeah. I'm trying to think. Maybe one of me reading a book. Or maybe me chatting. Or maybe gaming. I don't know. This is just ideas. You don't have to do all of them. But, try to think if there's any, like, projects that are coming up in the future that I am doing. Oh, here's one. Me as a villain. And then I could well, because the thing is, I was thinking of doing the voice. I originally was going to do the voice pack as a video, but I think the villain voice pack I'm just going to upload as a Google Drive folder that you all can have access to and download the files. Because that's a voice pack. But, I don't know. If you want another villain acting practice, you can do that if you want. I'm trying to think. Me as like an inkling or something. That'd be fun because we have the tournament coming up. Let's see. Let me think about that. Well, no, I need to work on my schedule. Ah! I get so distracted. Sorry, that's literally all on me. That's not your fault. I get distracted so easily. Maybe one when you light a fire. It seems to be a recurring event that you burn something in game. That is so true. Me next to like a burning like stove with like a plumb bob above my head. Yeah, I'm so prone to like fires in games. I never have caused a fire in real life. Thankfully. So, yeah, that'd be funny. Burning a cup of water. Oh my gosh. In The Sims, I would. Okay. So, let's see. Do I have a new video coming out next week? I think next week, my content for next week, I'm going to try to get the voice pack out. I think that's what I have planned. Okay, I have to put that I completed this Xenoblade video. Yeah, I think maybe next week is the voice pack, because I need to still record for the viola cover. I think for the video essays, I think once a month is probably a good thing for me. I think I could probably manage once a month. I need to start my script for the next one. Maybe I'll go to a cafe today after I record. And I'll try to get my script for the next one done. The next one, my idea is about leitmotifs. But I want to keep the anime that it's going to be about a secret. But it is going to be an anime for the next one. Let's see. Oh, these characters are so fun. Oh my gosh. Wow. Do you have any merch? No, I'm not at the moment. I was thinking of doing a merch drop for like a big event. So maybe during the summer or during my birthday. I've definitely thought about the idea of having like a year-round store, but like the logistics behind it are kind of difficult. So I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Like the whole point of the series is to Songs of Stories is about talking about the ways music and anime and video games elevates its storytelling. That's my elevator pitch for it. So it's half music analysis, both in a technical way and in a subjective way, right? Because art is both, or music is both, I feel like, a science and an art. So, like, you know, there's only so much technical stuff you can talk about music. I think it's very important to talk about music in a subjective way. Because, again, that's art, right? So, I try to talk a little bit about both, a little bit about the technicalities about it, and more of, like, the artistic, sort of, like, picturesque ways to think about music. Because, you know, it shouldn't always be about technical stuff. So I try to do both. And then I have like the part where I kind of do like a narrative analysis on it, like how does it connect to the story. So yeah, and it'll probably be different, you know, different structures for each video depending on what sort of things I want to talk about. But if you like the Xenoblade one, I hope you look forward to the next one. Yeah. Yes, I was finishing my schedule. Oh my gosh, I get so distracted. Okay, so I won't put new video because I don't know. I think it's just gonna be the voice pack next week. And then we're gonna do Xenoblade on Tuesday. Yes, sorry, we wrapped up the advice portion. We're now in our chatting portion / finishing my schedule portion so you all can see it. It's in my Google Calendar, I just have to transfer it to a nice pretty little thing. Imagine my schedules, I just screenshotted my Google Calendar and I posted it. That's not pretty, it's okay. Also, probably not easy to understand. It's just gonna be a lot of idle side job, sleep, streaming work. Like, not very interesting. Okay. And then VR chats, chatting. VR chat. I'm just gonna put VR chat chibi model. Yay! Okay. And then that is on the 10th. Yahoo! Alright! Okay, I need an art now. I'm gonna put an art here. Now the real question is, which one do I put? I'll scroll. Scroll. Boom, boom, boom. Ba-da-da-da-dum-dum. Da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum. Da-da-da-da-dum. Ah, this one. I don't know if I'm trying to figure out like which ones have I used already, which ones have I not used on the schedule, because I like to feature folks as much as I can. Okay, this one's from Mabu. Copy. I don't think I've put this one on a schedule yet, so I will... Boop, 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 boop. Do I pay real money into Honkai? I don't. I used to spend money in Genshin. But like in the past year or so, I haven't. The only reason why I have in the past year is because I had to like change my address, and in order to verify, I had to like, they were like, what was your last gacha purchase? And I was like, it's been like 2 years. I can't remember. It's not even in like my bank statements anymore. So I had to make like $1. Well, the first thing is I did the welcome top up, but that didn't work for whatever reason. I think it was because I had to go by whatever the bank statement said. So I thought it didn't work at first, so I made another $1 purchase. And then it ended up working. So I've spent $6 on Genshin in the past year. And then in my first year or two of playing Genshin, I spent like 200, no more than 300 dollars total. Yeah. But I'm not like a whale, maybe like a fish or a dolphin. I don't know. Okay, all right. Schedule is done. Yeah, just $6. Well, because it came out of necessity. Like, I had to do it, or otherwise I would lose my account because I couldn't verify. I had to make a recent purchase. It was like, what was your last purchase and how much? I was like, oh my gosh. A little guppy? Oh my gosh. I like guppies. They're cute. Little guppies. Isn't that like a show? Bubble Guppies. It's like a kid's show or something. I think I watched it while babysitting. Bubble Guppies. That's such a cute name. Yeah, Bubble Guppies. That's so cute. Is this the show? There was like a kids show. I think it was the Pink Fong, like Baby Shark, where they had like Doja Cat and they had like TXT or something. They had a K-pop group. Feature. N-hyphen. It was N-hyphen. They were in like a Pink Fong production, and they were all sharks. Doja Cat was also a fish. Was it the shark show? I don't know. Gosh. Yeah, I don't think I spent any money in a Honkai though. You got Acheron too? Oh my gosh, I've been using Acheron a lot lately. My team right now is Acheron, Pela, Guinaifen, and Luocha, of course. Who else? Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the team I work with a lot. Never seen Bubble Guppy? I haven't seen a lot of Bubble Guppies, actually. What do I watch when I babysit? Well, with my new niece, she's like a baby. So like she can't really watch stuff of like substance. So like we'll listen to, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, it's a whole like new sort of like delirium when you've been listening to the same like playlist of like, who took the cookie from the cookie jar? Octopus took the cookie from the cookie jar. Like it's I still end up singing them anyway, but like it's the same playlist of songs where it's like down by the bay where the watermelons grow. Oh my gosh. The babysitting playlist. Is it baby bread loaf? A bread roll? Oh yeah, the little bread, the bread rolls. The 2 bread loaves I used to babysit. And then the bread roll just needs a lot of attention, I guess. So whenever my sister needs to like relax, like have a I guess like a date night, I'll babysit for her. So the little bread roll. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the bread roll still needs to rise. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Okay, schedule needs to be exported now. I think this looks okay. Alright. Download. Okay. And then I will post this for realsies after stream. But I just need to set it up. Dun, 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 dun. I have like an eighth of my bun that I didn't eat for my breakfast. Because I was chatting away. Okay. Replace schedule. There you go. Now the schedule is updated. Alrighty. Well, thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you had a lot of fun. Definitely want to do more cozy stuffs. In the mornings on the weekend would be fun. I don't know what to get for lunch. I haven't gotten groceries yet. I need to do that. Let's see. Who am I gonna raid? Ah! Shiki's playing Persona 4 Golden. Let's raid into Shiki. That's fun. I need to play Persona. A lot of people have told me to play it. So we're gonna go ahead and raid into Shiki. I need to do that poll where we decide what other games I'm gonna play in addition to Xenoblade. Because of course we're gonna continue the Xenoblade journey. Okay. So add the Shiki raid. Okay, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest or a wonderful rest of your day. Bye! Ooh, salmon sounds good. You know what? I think I'm gonna make some salmon for lunch. Or for dinner. Because I'm kind of hungry now, so maybe I'll eat a simple lunch. And then I'll make salmon for dinner. Okay, bye! Sorry, I was about to start my secret ending, and then all of a sudden I had to yawn. So imagine I just did my secret ending. It was just me going. Eepy Rita. I don't think I'm so eepy that I need to take a nap. I think I just need to get up and move. So I'll go grocery shopping. Or maybe I'll make some Indomie for lunch. Yes, I'll make an Indomie with an egg on top. That'll be my lunch, and then I'll go out and get some groceries because I don't have any food. And then maybe I'll meal prep. I don't know, what should I make with salmon? Salmon what? Salmon rice? Salmon and mashed potatoes? Yeah, maybe I could do salmon and mashed potatoes for my meal prep. And then maybe like broccoli. Ooh! Yes! Yes, yes, yes. Perfect ideas. Okay, bye! Okay, also, somebody said it earlier where they were like, do you want fan art with Tyon? You know what? I'm not gonna say no to that. Tyon or like Garrus or like Shao, I'm not gonna. Who am I to keep you all, from expressing your true creative expression? Whatever is fine. I think that'd be fun. Okay, bye. Bye for realsies now. Okay, bye. Okay, bye.